Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the Rekt Capital channel. Thanks so much for joining me in today's video, and we're going to be talking a bit about the manipulation that we're seeing in recent days, but also dating back all the way back to late January, because we've been seeing not only negative manipulation in the form of a FUD meme by Elon Musk just posting about how, he misses Bitcoin's uptrend, whatever that meme was all about. In any case, we see a lot of manipulation in the sense of him tweeting about Bitcoin and that really influencing the price action of Bitcoin. But we also see, aside from negative manipulation, you can also make a case for positive manipulation, which isn't really spoken about really, because people, when it's good news, then everybody just celebrates the good news. But when Tesla announced, or at least Elon announced, that Tesla was going to be buying Bitcoin, this essentially ended the minus 31% January correction earlier this year, which prompted a fantastic rally essentially to new all-time highs. And then when Tesla once again accepted, or at least Elon announced that Tesla was going to be accepting Bitcoin payments for Teslas, then we saw another uptrend. But of course, since that time, we've seen a total shift in the sentiment, or at least, well, also in the sentiment, but also in the attitude of Elon Musk himself, and Tesla stopped accepting payments for Bitcoin. And it's been pretty much, this essentially prompted the breakdown from essentially was that distribution range. The Wyckoff distribution range we had at the very bottom of the range, right over here. We had a very key moment, technically, and then that catalyst, the negative catalyst, breaks price down to lower levels. And we've been in this market structure for a few weeks now, and we're still seeing that sort of manipulation through the lens of those tweets from Elon Musk affecting the market of Bitcoin. People really being nervous and really getting triggered. There's a knee-jerk emotional reaction whenever people see a tweet from Elon about Bitcoin, and they're very quick to panic sell, or whatever the case may be. In any case, guys, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video, but what I want to just mention, of course, there is a lot of that manipulation being actually happening through the lens of those tweets. But what I also want to mention to you is, of course, this distribution range, and what I think that we might be seeing a relief rally, or at least we should see a relief rally towards the bottom of that Wyckoff range to test this as a potential resistance, but actually break past it and turn it into a support right over here. That would be fantastic to just avoid this entire phase E and get this step out of the way and invalidate this step and progress Bitcoin. Bitcoin would progress towards the upside with a breakout back into the range. This is what has happened in the past. So if history repeats, this distribution range won't actually play out. So we do have the 200 daily exponential moving average as a resistance, and we're also seeing this 50 EMA really accelerating for a death cross, and you're seeing that this 50 EMA is going to be a resistance inside the bottom of the Wyckoff distribution range. So we're seeing confluent actual resistances in this area, and this area is $46,000 to $44,000. And the thing about that was really interesting is that from a Wyckoffian viewpoint, we're going to test this area, or at least we should test this area to just confirm this distribution range breakout. And through the lens of the Bitcoin growth curves, what's really interesting about this is that we're also getting the similar price of $45,000 at a very key resistance. So we're seeing confluence in $45,000 with $45,000, roughly speaking, in the bottom of this Wyckoff distribution range. And the thing about this is it's really interesting to see this confluence. And I'm just going to talk to you about this confluence right now, because if we just think about these Bitcoin growth curves, this is the top of the logarithmic channel. We see bull markets end at the top of the channel. Right, you can see over here across time, and at the bottom of the channel we see bull markets begin. Bear markets actually end right over here, even deviations below that point. And of course, the black level right over here is a key resistance right now. But what we need to mention about that is that that black level is the midpoint of this channel. So this is the channel top, this is the channel bottom, and this black level right over here is the midpoint of the Bitcoin growth curve. And it's really interesting to see how this midpoint is also confluent with $45,000, because if we just cycle back from 2021 to 2013, you'll notice how this part of price action, Bitcoin breaking past the black line over here, the black log line, so the midpoint of this logarithmic channel, that essentially opened up price to a revisit of this channel. But we saw some consolidation right over here, just below the black resistance. For a while, you saw that the black resistance was an area to watch out for that breakout point to new highs. And even in this cycle right over here, you can see that the midpoint of the midpoint of the logarithmic channel is figuring as a support right over here and breaking towards the top of the channel. And in fact, in a new bear market, this midpoint figures as a resistance and rejects price to lower levels and lower areas in the logarithmic channel. And once again, this midpoint right over here is figuring as a resistance, rejecting price towards the bottom of the channel once again. So in this cycle, you're seeing that the midpoint of the logarithmic channel is figuring as a resistance, broke past it briefly, and is now pulling back into, or at least below, this resistance. And now we're finding support at a key level again. But if history repeats itself, then we're going to see Bitcoin consolidate within this portion of price action. So the analogous situation over here, consolidation here just below the midpoint of this logarithmic range before finally breaking past this log level to revisit the top of the channel, because we haven't seen the top of the channel get revisited. And that's what Bitcoin could be setting itself up for after this correction. But this correction could take a bit more time, and we are below the midpoint of this growth curve line, $45,000. And it's interesting to see because $45,000 is confluent with Wyckoff, with the Wyckoff distribution range. And if we even revisit here and reject from here once again, which is of course confluent with the growth curve, midpoint of the channel, rejecting here and then continuing to consolidate or even going a bit lower, wherever the case may be, we can still invalidate this distribution range by breaking back above it. So this area is going to be really important in the short term, but also in the midterm, based on not just the Wyckoff distribution range and that schematic, but also based on the fact that this midpoint of the logarithmic channel tends to figure as a strong support after a mid-cycle crash, essentially speaking. So that key level is confluent, a confluent resistance across different forms of analysis. And it'll be really interesting to see how 45,000, roughly speaking, will continue to figure as that resistance, because 45,000 is essentially the price level that Bitcoin needs to break past to preserve the bullish momentum that was lost on this crash right over here. And by breaking past the 45,000 price level, Bitcoin would essentially break past its mid-cycle resistance to continue the second half of its cycle, right? Because we're already in the first half of the cycle, mid-cycle correction, and then a second mid-cycle would continue to just end the entire cycle overall. And 45,000 is that key level on the Bitcoin growth curve, but also this is the key level to break past because of the Wyckoff distribution range. And historically, we tend to see Wyckoff distribution ranges not precede market cycle tops, but local tops. So in the past, we see these distribution ranges get invalidated with a breakout back inside the distribution range that prompted the breakdown. So really interesting to see how this resistance is an important one going forward. 45,000 roughly speaking is the level to break to continue the Bitcoin bull market. In any case, guys, thanks so much for watching today. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future, and like the video if you'd like to see more content like this going forward. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Rekt Capital, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.